think I've ever been as excited over a pair of undies as I am today. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello, my name is Marie. It's so lovely to have you here. I hope you enjoyed today's video and maybe subscribe. If you are a returning subscriber, hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for the support. It really means a lot. Without further ado, let's get started. So I do want to preface this by saying that this video is actually the third video in my tower dress series. If you'd like to check out my other videos where I show other parts of my construction and talk about my approach towards this dress, I will leave a link to the playlist down in the description box below. Now let's really get started. So the final layer of the undergarments for Elizabeth's tower dress is the petticoat and the corset cover. So all in all, with the combinations and the corset, that is 3 layers of undergarments. Now, that might seem like a lot and a little stuffy, but really it isn't. I made all of my undergarments from cotton because I knew that eventually when conventions open up again, I'm going to be in these all day, and I need breathable, natural fabric. And a lot of undergarments from the Edwardian era were made out of cotton, weather permitting, of course, in the winter, depending on where you lived. They would also use wool stockings, wool petticoats, thicker corsets, and things of that nature. And like I said, using cotton makes these undergarments really comfortable and they feel absolutely weightless. So let's head to the work table. Hello, voiceover Marie here. So I began with drafting out the pattern for my petticoat. I'm unsure if I actually have footage of this because I took this about 3 weeks ago, but if I do, it'll go here. I drafted my own petticoat pattern. It was very simple, just an A-line skirt pattern with some ruffles on the bottom. A petticoat like this is a great beginner's project. If you want to dip your toes into the world of historical costuming, you're going to need a petticoat anyway. I decided to go with white fabric for Elizabeth's petticoat because in the game, you can see a little sliver of her petticoat lining from under her skirt, and to me it looks white. Some people will swear up and down that it's yellow, and maybe I'm colorblind or I have a different perception of color, so it might just be on me, but I see white when I see Elizabeth's petticoat, so I went with white. Her petticoat also doesn't seem to have ruffles. It seems very linear, but I really did want to add ruffles because you can never have too many ruffles. And I've seen a lot of Edwardian petticoats have these really beautiful ruffled hems, so I wanted mine to have that. I sewed the petticoat entirely by machine. It was easy. It took a couple days to make. And for the ruffles, I did pleats that were about 1.5 inches apart, I believe, on the top, and then I pinned that all together, and in order to fit it to my petticoat, I just pinned. I believe I cut out about 1 yard of hem, and then I just fit it and I trimmed it. Like I always say, it's better to cut out too much because it's far easier to take something in than take something out. So in order to close it, I used hooks and eyes. I had a little opening on the left side of it. I decided to do this because in my examination of many 1910s petticoats, I have noticed that they use the hook and eye method far more frequently than they do those strings that simply fasten. Those are more common in older garments. It still ended up being just a tad too big for me. I have very strange measurements. My waist is a lot smaller for someone than it should be with my bust size and my hip size, but I also have a very large rib cage. Opera singer problems. So it's just very difficult to get things to fit completely correctly on my body, but my petticoat was super close, so I will take it. And that was it for the petticoat. So let's move on to the corset cover. So the corset cover is such a fascinating garment to me, and I'm actually planning an entire lesson for Patreon about the corset cover. So if you're interested in that, I'll leave my Patreon link down below. There's a lot of exciting things happening. I'll talk about that later. Basically, the corset cover's purpose at this time was to protect the outer garment from the corset, because sometimes corset bones did pop out. There are things bound to pop out, and pop in, and pop everywhere. Especially when you're dealing with something as stiff as boning. So it was far better for the boning to pop through the corset cover, which was usually made of a very lightweight cotton, than a silk blouse. I also decided to go with white for the corset cover because I wanted it to disguise the black and white trim of my corset, and my blouse is going to be white, so I didn't want to do something colorful that would be seen through my blouse. By the 1910s, the corset cover had gone away from the more ruffled, pigeon-breasted silhouette to a simpler design that was far more akin to the modern-day bra. So when I was drafting my corset cover pattern, I decided to go for something that was more akin to a modern day chemisette. I know a lot of historical costumers who will pick up a chemisette from Forever 21 or H&M and they will use that as their corset cover, and it looks great, it's beautiful, and I love that. The reason I made my corset cover instead of just buying a chemisette is because in cosplay competitions, if you enter into the craftsman's category, you have to make mostly everything. Of course, this doesn't apply to shoes or stockings, but everything else has to be made by you. So what I first did was I added insertion lacing, because I have seen insertion lacing on a lot of 1910s corset covers and I think it's very pretty. I did this by hand and I do not have footage of it because I was watching Roger Rabbit while I was doing it, but if anyone would ever like a tutorial on it, comment down below and I would love to film it for you. It's quite simple, but I understand some people are visual learners, myself included. So after I finished the insertion lace on each side and the back of the corset cover, I simply went to the machine and I sewed it. Everything else is sewn by machine on the corset cover except for the buttonholes. Now I was made aware by someone in one of my previous videos that my machine actually has the capability to do buttonholes, but I've had this machine since I was 12 years old and I have no idea where the manual is. So I just decided to do it by hand, and I didn't invest in a buttonhole cutting tool, so my buttons actually look presentable this time around and not like the hot garbage that they were on my combinations. So for my sleeve straps of the corset cover, I decided to use the same lace I did for the insertion lace, and while it looks gorgeous, it looks like a flower in my opinion, they're not very practical because they keep slipping off my shoulders, because lace does tend to be a little slippery. I really said fashion over function, but so have most couture designers, so I think I'm in good company with this one. And after all that was finished, the undergarments were finally finished. And there you have it, my Elizabeth undergarments are complete. So the silhouette is quite dramatic, and I'm not used to seeing myself in a silhouette like this. Most of the time I do 1940s wear, and my Edwardian wear, which I do a lot, is more inspired than 100% accurate. So seeing myself with all these undergarments was quite the trip. And I did not tight lace, I did not do any modification like that. It's simply all padding. For lack of a better terms, it's smoke and mirrors. Overall, I'm really happy with the undergarments. Are they perfect? Not by a long shot. Are they presentable? Yes. That was my goal. Was it an amazing learning experience to make something from the inside out? Absolutely. And if I had to do it again, I'd do it exactly the same way. I do want to apologize for the lighting situation. We have a storm currently going on and I usually use natural lighting for my videos. So I think I've been about 50 shades of pasty in this one. So I do apologize for that. At the time of filming this, I've actually already started on my blouse. I have cut out my pattern, my fabric, and I'm starting on the pleats on the front of the blouse. I need to do a few tweaks here and there, but it's super exciting, and I really appreciate the support I have received throughout this series. It really means a lot. And that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed today's video and you aren't already subscribed, subscribe, click that notification bell down below, and give this video a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of my sweaty, especially poorly lit face, follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. I post on TikTok weekly and I post on Instagram whenever I want. Getting better at posting at least once a week though on there. So if you would like to see more exclusive behind the scenes content, including my Elizabeth Research Bible, please consider supporting me on Patreon today. I will leave all of that information down below in my Linktree in the description box. I will be adding my Etsy store to that this weekend if you'd like to pick up some corset covers or some petticoats. Have an amazing week and stay safe. I will see you next week. Bye!